Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya wal Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Surah Yusuf. To continue the study of Surah Yusuf today, we will inshallah start from ayah number 19 and we'll continue hopefully until the end of 29. These 10 ayahs inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وجاءت سيارة فأرسلوا واردهم فأدلى دلوه قال يا بشرى هذا غلام وأسروه بضاعة والله عليم بما يعملون وشروه بثمن بخس دراهم معدودة وكانوا فيه من الزاهدين وقال الذي اشتراه من مصر لامرأته أكرمي مثواه عسى أن ينفعنا أو نتخذه ولدا وكذلك مكنا ليوسف في الأرض ولنعلمه من تأويل الأحاديث والله غالب على أمره ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون ولما بلغ أشده آتيناه حكما وعلما وكذلك نجزي المحسنين صدق الله العظيم. This is the end of Surah number 23, but inshallah we'll study furthermore some ayahs as much as we can. So now we are in the middle of the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, and a new scene of his journey, a new leg of his story is starting in ayah number 19, a new chapter. So far, he was kidnapped in a way by his brothers. They came up with a lot of excuses and false reasons and assurances to their father, lying to him that they were going to protect him and they were going to watch after him and keep him safe and protected. But they actually had planned something different. They had planned to get rid of him. So they threw him in the well in the desert, and they came home late, crying, ingenuously. They were not genuine. They were lying, and they were faking that cry. Plus, they brought his shirt full of blood, which was another lie, that they faked that blood, and they said this is Yusuf's blood, that the wolf ate him up. So this all shows how much, when you succumb and you listen to the whispers of shaitan, step by step, you are taken to many different levels of committing sins and doing wrong. It starts from a small step of jealousy, not liking, not agreeing with what father is doing in their understanding, in their opinion. And that opinion and that understanding slowly turned into jealousy and into hate and the feeling and the intention of harming Yusuf alayhi salam. And eventually they decided, that that level of hate and jealousy became so high that eventually they wanted to get rid of him. Now, this is the extreme level of listening and obeying the whispers of shaitan. And this is a great lesson. Whenever we have such feelings, jealousy makes us commit so much wrong without, being rational and just and fair. So when we hate someone or something for any reason, we should keep it very low and control it and try to, remove that type of feelings from our hearts. Even if we don't like something or don't like someone, that should not allow us to move up in these levels of increasing our animosity and hatred, so that it eventually, pushes us and forces us to commit something grave and seriously wrong, just like the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam did. And in today's lesson, a new chapter starts. So he is thrown into the well, but the brothers are still monitoring. Either all of them, or they're coming there one by one, because he stayed there for some days. And they were coming and monitoring and watching what will happen to him, what is going to be, who is going to pick him up, or if he is going to come out, or something that they were, trying to make sure either he disappears, or someone takes him out of that place and takes him to a faraway land that he will never be able to come back. So one day, this caravan is going from Sham, from that area of, Syria and Palestine and these places, to Egypt. And there were caravans. There was this the path for this caravan, and that well happens to be around that area. So in those days, the caravans used to have someone sent up ahead of them, a group, to look for water, because it wasn't scarce. It was not easy. So they would go and search for water. And even sometimes if they could not find any sources of water well, they would find a place where they could dig a well, at least for their use temporarily. So this group of water fetchers, they may have had a leader, but there was a group of them. So they came to this well taking water, and they found Yusuf alayhi salam. And from there, that new chapter of his life starts. Now, what happened? The brothers are sitting there watching. And as soon as Yusuf alayhi salam is out, they jump in and they say, you know what? He's our renegade, runaway slave. Now they accused him and called him, labeled him as slave, so that he will not be able to complain to the people that, these are my brothers and this is what they did to me. And they had the fear, the brothers had the fear that if these people believe in him and they feel for him, so they will help him, bring him back home. So as soon as he was brought out, they just ran to that person and they said, you know what, we were looking for this slave, and he ran away, but we can sell him to you. So they first tortured him, took his shirt out, threw him into the well, the lowest they can go, the most heinous crime they can ever commit. And now they're selling him as a slave. So either they sold, that which is the more accurate understanding, and even those people who brought it out, they didn't want the rest of the caravan to know that they found a young, handsome, good-looking, well-mannered boy, because they would also claim, you know what, we also share, we have some share in that. So they try to hide him, they try to conceal him, either physically hide him, or they didn't disclose the fact that he was found in that well, and we just brought him here. So they said, you know, he was one of our merchandise, because, you know, in those days, people would be sold just like merchandise, like commodities. So they said, this is one of our merchandise that we brought with us from Syria, from the Sham, so that nobody is going to, claim a share. So once he was sold here, and then he was kept as a commodity, as a merchandise. And even those people, those water fetchers, also sold him to the caravan. And then they sold him in Egypt. So وَجَاءَتْ سَيَّارَةٌ, ayah number 19. وَجَاءَتْ, and came, سَيَّارَةٌ, a caravan. Sayyara, traveling. Sara yasiru sayara, this is the word, something that travels, that walks, moves. Sayaratun, the traveling caravan came. فَأَرْسَلُوا, and when they were passing by around the area, they sent out waridahum. Warid is the person who is looking for water, and he is a water fetcher. Someone who is sent out to bring water to the rest of the caravan, to the rest of the people. Lowered down. فَأَدْلَى, he lowered down, dalwahu, his, an expression. That's a good news. هَذَا غُلَامٌ, this is a boy, and not an ordinary boy. They were struck by how handsome and how well-mannered and nice that boy was. وَأَسَرُّوهُ, and they hid him, they concealed, they tried to hide him. Who? Yusuf alayhi salam. بِضَاعَةً, as a merchandise. They covered his actual identity, they hid his actual lineage and identity, and they turned him into a merchandise. So asarru, this dhamir, this pronoun of wow, that they hid him. Who are they? So it could be both groups. Either the brothers, they were watching, and as soon as they found out that he is brought out of the well, they ran and said, they had his true actual identity as being their own brother, and they presented him as their slave to be sold to them. So the brothers did that to Yusuf alayhi salam. Now, why didn't Yusuf alayhi salam complain, and just why didn't he shout out that they are lying and I'm brother and I was kidnapped and all of that? So the books go to explain that he was afraid for his life, because he knew the brothers, when they did such a big crime against him and didn't even think about their parents, and despite their father being so concerned, and they didn't even care. So he was scared that they can do anything now. They may be taking it to the extreme, and they may even kill me. So either the brothers sold him as a merchandise, or those water fetchers, the group that came for water, when they took him, they hid his actual identity, and they said to the caravan that this is merchandise, and they sold him there to the rest of the caravan. Wallahu alimun. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all knowing. He has full knowledge of bima ya'malun, over everything that they do. The brothers and the water fetchers, the warid of the people, the one who was sent out for water, Allah knows all their actions. وَشَرَوْهُ. And they sold him. Again, وَشَرَوْهُ can refer to both groups. Brothers sold him, or the water fetchers sold him to the caravan, or they both sold him in their turns. بِثَمَنٍ, with a price, بَخْسٍ, very, very cheap, very reduced and low price. So this shows us that it was their brothers, because they just wanted to get rid of him. They didn't even care how much they are going to get out of him. So this makes it more accurate that he was sold as a commodity, as a merchandise by their own brothers, because they just took a few coins. Bithamanin, with a price, bakhsin, very cheap, darahima, and that is the explanation. Darahima ma'duda is the explanation of thamanin bakhsin. Bakhsin means a very cheap, low, and reduced price. Darahima ma'duda, a few dirhams. And dirham was the silver coins in those days. A few silver coins they took for Yusuf alayhi salam. Why did they do that? وَكَانُوا فِيهِ مِنَ الزَّاهِدِينَ. And they actually had no interest in him. Zuhud. They were fed up, and they tried to get rid of him, and just to sell him out, and so that he can be taken away to a very far land. So this makes it clear that actually their brothers were the ones who sold him. And it is possible that later on, when the people who brought out the water, they learned how valuable this young boy is, they sold him a higher. And in Egypt, he was sold extremely low, the higher price, to the ruler, to the Aziz, that minister. We will come to that later. وَكَانَ فِيهِ مِنَ الزَّاهِدِينَ. وَقَالَ الَّذِي اشْتَرَاهُ مِنْ مِصْرَ. Now here, the story is cut short because the Quran is a book of not stories. The stories are there only to learn, to teach, and to learn from. They're there only to give us the glimpse of some lesson to contemplate and think deeply about. So the whole journey from that water well in Canaan and around the areas of Palestine all the way to Egypt, it was a long travel, especially when they were traveling on the land by, in the caravan. It may have taken probably several weeks. All of that detail is not mentioned. So the end, what is more important, what is gives us and teaches us lessons is mentioned in the details of the story. So وَقَالَ الَّذِي, and said the one, اشتراه, the one who bought him, min Misra, from Misr, from Egypt. The one who bought him there, limra'atihi. And we know, we will see that in the remaining of this ayah and the next ayahs, that the person who bought him with that high price was Al-Aziz. And Al-Aziz is the title for the Minister of Finance, the minister under whose hand was the whole treasury. So he was like almost the king, second to the king, and he had the whole power of the treasury, the money, and the every financial resources of Egypt was in his hands. And there are different names mentioned for him, but Al-Aziz was the title. That was the position, like the Mansab. The Mansab was Al-Aziz, but the names, every person who took that position was called Al-Aziz, despite their other names, Iftir or different names are mentioned for him. But that's not important. If it were important, it would have been mentioned here. All we know is the one who bought him, and Al-Aziz will come later on, that he bought him in the market where the slaves were sold, and he brought him home. As soon as he gets home, before he gets home, he already knew some thing about Yusuf alayhi salam. And he knew about the smartness, the good manners, the good character, besides the physical beauty of Yusuf alayhi salam, but more so his manners, his character traits, his beautiful human nature. So he said, Limra'atihi, to his wife, Akrimi mathwahu, Akrimi, do ikram of him. Ikram, we use this word in our languages too. Do ikram of this boy. Akrimi, honor him. Ikram, honor. Mathwahu, his place. Make his place an honorable, respectable place. Now, mathwah means his shelter and his food, his living, everything about him in the palace should be absolutely respectable and honorable. He should not be treated as a slave. He should not be treated as the one who has been bought in the market. Now, subhanAllah, look at the lowest and lowest place that he was in, and then slowly he comes to Egypt and sold as a slave, and now he makes it and ended up in the palace. And the Al-Aziz recommends to his wife to make him one of the most honorable person in the family. And he further goes, Asa an yanfa'ana, that definitely and soon he would help us. He, as a smart, intelligent, nice, good-looking person, he's going to benefit us. Or we will adopt him as a son. And it is said that Al-Aziz did not have any children. So he was happy, and he said to his wife, you know what, this is a good way that we are going to make him as our son. He was so happy that he didn't consider him as a slave, because of the nature of Yusuf alayhi salam. And this tells us a lot about how this young boy was raised from the very beginning, and how well-mannered and well-behaved this young boy Yusuf alayhi salam was. So Aziz is recommending to his wife that this boy is not an ordinary boy. We can either have him a good helper, or we can even go one step further and make him as our son, adopt him. وَكَذَلِكَ. Now Allah says, this is how. وَكَذَلِكَ, and in this manner. This is similarly to this, exactly. Makanna, we give tamkeen. Now, tamkeen is a good word in Arabic language. Tamkeen means when you are well established in a place, where your life is secured, and you are financially and socially and in every way, family-wise, and in every aspect, you have been established, secured, and you are in a very sound and safe place. That is called tamkeen, makanna. And it comes from makan also. We gave him this makan. Allah says we provided him this makan, and further, more than the makan, we gave him tamkeen. And tamkeen, like I said, to be well established and well rooted in a very safe, reliable, trustworthy place. We did that Yusufa, for Yusuf alayhi salam. So this whole journey of going through difficulties and hardships was a training. Now he is in a different level of his training. From the lowest of low, he is coming to the highest of high. You know, a young man in a palace, and he is provided with everything that he can imagine. Every luxury, every tool and necessities and wants that he can imagine of is available for him. So Allah can change one's life from zero to all the way up as much as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. But it is all depends on our iman, and our iman, our dependence, our trust in Allah should always be in the same level, whether we are in the lowest of the low, financially, family-wise, health-wise, any other considerations. If we are facing the hardest and most difficult challenges, our iman should be exactly the same in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we should take that as a test, as a trial, as something that Allah has decided and decreed, and qada and qadar. And there may be khair for me. There may be goodness for me. And maybe Allah is preparing me for something much higher and bigger and better. And if I'm not prepared, well prepared, if I'm not tested there, like the goldsmith, Zargar, they take the gold and they burn it, like they melt it. And not because they want to destroy it, but to purify it, to get rid of all the impurities and all the things that are attached to the gold. And after melting it, and with the highest of highest fire, they turn it into good, nice, beautiful, valuable, precious jewelry. So that's how Yusuf alayhi salam was tested for many years, and now he is given a tamkeen in Egypt, fil ardi, in the earth. وَلِنُعَلِّمَهُ, and this is how we also taught him ta'lim min ta'wil al-ahadith, of the interpretations of the dreams. Al-ahadith primarily means dreams, but it also means all types of speech. Like in the very beginning, his father told him, when Yusuf alayhi salam said that we will be, that I saw this dream, his father said, don't tell your brothers about this, and Allah is going to teach you the interpretation of the dreams, and also the interpretation and correct understanding of all types of speech, and the knowledge and the understanding of all books and scriptures of the past. وَلِنُعَلِّمَهُ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ وَاللَّهُ غَالِبٌ عَلَىٰ أَمْرِهِ. And this is the mention of our increasing our iman in the sifat and the attributes of Allah, that Allah is ghalib. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is completely in control ala amrihi, over his affairs, over the decisions, the decrees, the state that he is intending and deciding for someone. Allah has complete ghalaba, complete control, power over all those things. No one else can overpower Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one else can repel, reject, or change Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decisions. So as long as we depend on Allah and He has decided something for us, there is no one to overpower, overcome, and become ghalib, na'udhu billah minha, against Allah. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. But this fact that Allah is ghalib over all things, لَكِنَّ, but أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ, a majority of people, a lot of people, لا يعلمون, they don't understand this. They don't try to put their aql, their understanding into knowing these facts. وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ, and whenever بَلَغَ, he reached, Yusuf alayhi salam, أَشُدَّهُ, his full potential, his full strength and power. Now there is mention of which age was that when he reached his full mental, physical, spiritual strength and power and potential. So some say as soon as he became baligh, as soon as he became he hit the puberty, he become baligh. Some say as soon as he hit 18 years of age. But a lot of the books of Tafseer and explanation say when he became 33 years old. Allahu Alam. But in any age, but the point is when he became fully mature, physically and mentally, spiritually, ataynahu, that's when we gave him hukman, the rule, hukm, the ruling, the hukm, to be the ruler, wa ilman, and knowledge. Now some of the tafsirs mention this, hukman, to be the nubuwwat, becoming the prophet and nabi, and wa ilman, and additionally becoming a nabi, Allah gave him the knowledge too. Now if so with this opinion that Allah sent down to him the message of nubuwwah when he became fully, completely a mature, grown-up man. So the wahi that came to him when he was being thrown into well, then this opinion says that that was not a direct wahi, but it was an ilham. It was an ilham, it was an inspiration to him, being the son of a prophet, and he was with them, Yaqub alayhi salam, until then, and he knew that very well about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And especially when he saw the dream and the father interpreted to him. So that's how when he was thrown, there was also an inspiration to him, an ilham to him, and he completely understood and knew that this was a good news from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when those who say that he got the nubuwwat at the stage of his full strength, they say that the beginning, that was not a wahi, it was an ilham. And some, even those who believe that he got the nubuwwah in later age, they say even that being thrown into the well was not a wahi of becoming a nabi, but it was a call or a nida for him just through an angel to understand, to know what is going to happen to him. So it was not a wahi of becoming a nabi. Wallahu a'lam. But the other understanding is, yes, in that time he got a wahi, he became a prophet, but this, وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ, when he became fully mature and with full power and strength, أَتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا. Now, besides the prophethood, Allah gave him the hukm too, ruling also. He became, the ruler there. And besides that, he had the knowledge of how to rule, how to distribute the rizq, how to manage the treasury and all of that. Wallahu a'lam. وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And this is how similarly we reward the muhsinin, those who do well, those who excel. So it's not limited to Yusuf alayhi salam, but everyone who does well, this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them, by giving them tamkeen, by increasing them in their knowledge, in their hukum, in their wisdom, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides them with all the means and the tools to understand and strengthen their iman. This is the reward of every muhsin, everyone who does good. وَرَاوَدَتْهُ الَّتِي هُوَ فِي بَيْتِهَا. And now another chapter in his life starts. Up to this point, He was taken out of the well, he was sold, then he was brought to Egypt, he was sold again, and he ended up in the house of Al-Aziz, and Al-Aziz recommended that he should be honored and respected and treated like a family member. And as he grows up, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals to him, and he becomes, a person that can rule, that has the knowledge of affairs. And now a new chapter starts. When the wife of Al-Aziz sees in him that he has now grown up, and his beauty, his physical, being a very handsome and beautiful person, she cannot control her emotions. And it is especially worsened by the fact that she doesn't have any children. And that makes her have wrong and bad intentions, and trying to seduce him, trying to call him and invite him to commit something very seriously wrong, haram, and impermissible. And she's doing that with a very gentle, lenient, nice, tricks and a very good manner, that she is not outrightly calling him in the first attempt to do haram. The word rawadathu, she did talab, she invited him, she asked him to do something. But rawadathu, this rawada, the same word is used when we saw the caravan sending the person to bring the water. That water is not brought just all of a sudden from the well. It goes slowly up and slowly and slowly and slowly, and take time to come up, especially in the desert. The wells are very deep, so the water does not come out all of a sudden very quick. It takes time. So that's how she also did, very slowly, very, using different tactics and different tricks. And then rawadathu, the one she tried to seduce and call him and ask him for doing something wrong. Allati, the lady, the woman, huwa fi baytiha, that he was fi baytiha, in his house. Look at the beauty of this ayah. This Quran doesn't mention her name. It doesn't even say the wife of Al-Aziz in the very beginning, to keep her name, and a secret, and not to expose her, not to, make, in a way that will become dishonorable, disrespectful for her. So it just says the lady that he was living in her house, and it is clear that is the wife of Al-Aziz. And by the way, in some books, she's called Zulaykha. And it is very famous. It is also mentioned in the books of Tafseer. But I searched if that word is used in the hadith. I didn't find any hadith of the Prophet ﷺ mentioning that name specifically. But it is mentioned in many books of Tafseer. So there is no harm if we use it. So Zulaykha, or the wife of Al-Aziz, tried to seduce him. And nafsihi, she tried to call him and ask him, demand him of his own nafs, his own self, the Yusuf alayhi salam. And in that attempt, she was planning. She knew his husband and the servants and the guards and people are not there, but she took even additional measures, and she closed all the doors. And some narrations mention that she closed 7 doors, and she was inside the 7 doors so that he will not be able to, run away. Abwab is plural of bab. It's not one bab. And ghallaqa is also emphasized word. It doesn't say aghlaqa. Aghlaqa is one door. وَغَلَّقَ, all of them. And it also means very tightly, not like just close the door. No, غَلَّقَ, locked completely. الْأَبْوَابَ وَقَالَتْ. Now, look at this situation. She is beautiful. She is like a queen. She is a powerful woman. She has money and fame and name and everything. And he is young. He has all the potential and he has all the desires. And there is no one watching, no one to be, reporting that. There is no one to report that to Al-Aziz. So there is no mania, nothing to stop him except his iman, except that he knew Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching, and he knew this is wrong, and he knew he cannot betray the trust of Al-Aziz, who in the ayahs that we learned earlier, that he said to his wife, Akrimi mathwahu. He was very nice and good and kind and caring to him, that he said to his wife, be good to him and honor him and give him a good place. So how can I betray that trust? Plus, if even nobody is watching, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's a great lesson for all of us, especially the young people on both sides, that no matter what, even if it is the most secret place or the most secret manner, all alone by yourself, nobody's watching, and there is something haram, something wrong, something impermissible, but you always have to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching, and you cannot hide. So وَغَلَّقَتِ الْأَبْوَابِ, she closed all the doors. وَقَالَتْ, and she said, هَيْتَ لَكَ. Now come on, we will just finish this ayah. Then we will tomorrow start from 24. وَقَالَتْ, and she said, هَيْتَ لَكَ. Now hayta is a very interesting word. Some say that this is Syriani word, but anyway, the Arabic, it is used in Arabic and it is used in Quran. Hayta means come on. When there is no one and you are calling someone in a very gentle, nice manner, come on. And hayta laka, that means I'm telling you, come on. Hayta laka. Laka means, hey, Yusuf, I'm telling you. So like she's emphasizing, she's trying to make it very personal. That, hey, Yusuf, I'm telling you, come on. And hayta also, some of the explanations go like this also is recited as hayatu, hi'tu laka, hi'tu laka, which means I'm ready for you. I have prepared myself for you. Tahayya'a, yuhayyi'u. That's another Arabic language word. So in any case, it means I'm ready, and come on, I'm telling you to now commit this haram act. As soon as she says that, Yusuf alayhi salam has no second guessing. Ma'adallah. I seek, he fawran, right away he says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And that is a lesson for all of us. In the first step of any such wrong thought and whispers of shaitan, we should say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Whether it's a haram relationship, whether it's sending some email or some text message or some picture or watching something or sending something, receiving something. Now the technology has made these things available. As soon as we know it is inappropriate, but inside of us there is some urge, there is some kind of pushing, we should say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. That should the first thing be in our mouth, like Yusuf alayhi salam said, Ma'adallah, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge and protection by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, this is a very important statement. Qala ma'adallah. He said it right away without any pause. So all the details that unfortunately in some of the books of Tafseer also they mention it, that, na'udhu billahi minha, he also had some intentions, or that he had tried, and because he saw some picture of his father that the father was biting on his fingers, or that he, saw Jibril alayhi salam, or he heard a voice. That is all incorrect. That is all Israeliyat. That is all from the books of there is no thubut. Very clearly, the first word that comes out of his mouth is ma'adallah. And he was a prophet. How can he even think of any ma'asiyah? How can even think or try to be closer to any that fahisha? Innahu. So the first thing is, I seek refuge and protection by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second thing, innahu, indeed, the fact is, he, Rabbi, he is my master. Meaning he took care of me. And he's referring to Al-Aziz. He is my master. He is my caretaker. He is the one who brought me, raised me and gave me all the status. And ahsana mathwaya, he gave me the most excellent of places and status to live. How can I betray him? How can I stab him in his back? That is not possible. It also can refer to innahu Rabbi, Allah. Ma'adallah, then he says, innahu Rabbi, Allah is my Rabb. And he has given me this beautiful place to live. How can I do this? And number three, innahu la yuflihu al-zalimun. This is a dhulm, a very wrong, a very big, wrong that I will be committing. And innahu, the fact is, la yuflihu al-zalimun. A zalim, wrongdoer, sinner of this type is not going to be successful. La yuflihu, he is not going to be successful here or in the hereafter. Even if there is secret right now, even if nobody is watching, but a day will come that this crime will be exposed. That Aziz and people will definitely find out about this. And in the Akhirah, absolutely, someone who is committing a crime like that will never be successful. So he gives three different reasons, clear-cut, arguments to her that he is not going to commit something like that. And we will see in the next ayah that he's running. Eventually, when he could not, convince her to stop, he's running towards the door, and we will, we will learn tomorrow, inshallah, that she's jumping and grabbing him and ripping his clothes. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا ولم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمته.